record button. Okay, so thank you for coming, y'all. We're going to set the stage for a buyer presentation, okay? Now, by this time, we've already had an online or some form of a phone call. There's been some form of, I'm ready. They most likely have had a conversation with the lender. Basically, this is my opportunity to present to them and set the stage in a very formal way, professional way, okay? Basically, everywhere you go, okay, you go and get a massage, they want you to fill out some paperwork. You go and you get your feet rubbed, they want you to fill out paperwork. You get a chiropractic adjustment, there's paperwork. You take your dog in, there's paperwork. There's paperwork everywhere. So why can't we have paperwork? Okay, this is our paperwork. Okay, you're getting ready to buy a big asset or sell a big asset, and all I want is a 30 to 45 minutes where I can walk you through what the experience of working with me is going to be like. And I also want to do it for your benefit so that we don't waste time and that you get exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so there's a sheet in our Google Drive that looks like this. This is called the buyer information sheet. Tracy, I can send you something like this later. If you can remind me, please. This is basically an intake sheet. Okay, so I've got this next to my computer or next to my day planner as I'm making my calls, and it asks questions that are going to help me better understand the buyer and their desires and their motivations and their basically their level of cooperation. Right now, I want you to. This is the attitude that I want you to go into it with, and this is an attitude that was long developed. Okay, I definitely was not like this at the beginning. However, the more I got, how do I want to say this? The more I got blunt with my people, my prospects, and the more that I got kind of assertive in the way that I spoke. I'm not talking about being rude. I'm just talking about being confident and being clear and helping people understand how to be successful and not lollygagging around what it's going to take, right? The more successful I got. And what I found is that if I didn't create the boundaries, they would walk all over me. And the moment that they did something or said something that told me that they did not deserve me and my time, they were done. And I had the attitude of, I'll just go find another buyer. I don't care about this one. Right? If you're rude and you're a bigot and you never listen to anything I say to do and you won't cooperate and you're lying to me and you're always late, I ain't got time for that. I'll go find another buyer. You don't deserve me. Right? Now, so what I want you to understand and hear loud and clear is you got to have that type of confidence to be able to say, I'll just go find another buyer. But we deserve respect. Okay? I don't believe that we should feel the need to jump when they say jump and run when we say run. We are a professional. If you call your CPA and you say, I'd like you to meet me in 20 minutes, they're going to laugh at you. So why do we do that? Right? So I want you to understand that kind of as a kind of overarching theory, okay? Make sense? Okay, so I prefer to do this in a setting that is professional / public. Okay, it's a little different with COVID. You may have to do it online, right? By the way, Zoom is like having the internet right now. Okay, you got to get comfortable with it. There's no other way to do it. I mean, I guess you could do Skype and these kind of things, but you've got to be able to have the ease of technology to be able to share the screen and do all these kind of things because it's a tool of the market of the moment. There's no way around it. And by the way, and if you don't like Zoom and you want to leave real estate because you don't like Zoom, every corporate somewhat job has digital video software right now. Like, if you want to get away from Zoom, then you can go do some landscaping. Otherwise, Zoom's going to be a part of your day. Does that make sense? Nothing against landscapers, but they don't have to use Zoom. if you don't want to work outside all day, get used to it. Make sense? All right, you guys, we
So
scheduled this.
I want to just say something about, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just want to say something about the comment you made a little bit ago, because I called Donna one night and I said, Donna, I have this buyer that called me cold. I don't know her, and I'll split half the commission with you, but she's going to be a lot of work, and I know I'm going to need help. So she was always calling late. She was always late. Like, I'd been talking to her for like 2 days, and every time she called, she was late. And she called me. She's so disrespectful. She called me one night at 11 o'clock at night because she missed our original phone call. And so I said to her, you can't do this. I'm like, I'm asleep. You can't call my house at this time of night. I'm sorry. And so she said, oh, please work with me. I'm so sorry. And so I gave her one more chance. And that's when I got Donna on the phone. And she did it again to both of us. And Donna said, Kim, this is not going to work. She was 30 minutes late. Then when I called her and like, where are you? She was in her car still driving home. And I said, okay. And Donna and I kind of hung up the Zoom call, and I texted her and I wrote her a nice note to thank her for her business. But we walked out. I just walked away from it.
It's not worth the stress, guys. Like, every minute that you spend with that person and the mental energy it takes is preventing you from being a good, fill in the blank, good mother, good friend, good parent, good realtor for other people, good prospector to go find a different lead, right? You don't deserve, or you do deserve a higher degree of respect than that, right? All right. So I've got this in front of me. I've already asked all these questions on the phone, and I'm going to ask them again in person, okay? Now, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and I'm going to point out a couple of things. This is from, what do you call it? KW Command's modern buyer's presentation template. Okay, so I haven't customized it or anything like that. I'm just going to kind of run through some of these slides. You can see this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Kim, you my buyer?
Yes.
Knock, knock.
Hello.
Kim, this is Bill. I'm Bill Linkwald. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Bill. How are you? Come on in.
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me over today. It's 4 o'clock. We had a 4 o'clock appointment. I'm just so excited to get started with you. May I sit down?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Excellent, excellent. So I know that I had sent you a little bit of information ahead of time. Meanwhile, so I may have sent this kind of brochure ahead of time so they could take a peek at it.
Right.
It's got some testimonials. I'll walk you through it here in a second. Did you get a chance to review that?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I haven't looked at it.
Okay, I get it. I get it. We're all super busy. I know how it is. So we'll hit on some of the high points today, if that's okay. Sound good?
Sure.
Okay, cool. It's actually quite a bit like a listing presentation, by the way. Okay. Now, again, I always recommend doing this in a professional setting. So in the market center would be fine. You could even maybe do it in Starbucks, something like that. And for your own safety and for theirs, right, it's good to do it in a public setting or in a protected setting like the market center, right? You don't want to meet a brand new person at a vacant home at night. Do y'all hear that loud and clear?
Yes.
Don't be meeting strangers that you never met before at night in vacant homes, okay? I don't care who they are or how much money they want to spend. Okay. All right. So Kim, thank you so much for the opportunity to come visit with you. You know, there are a lot of real estate agents out there, and I know that you have the ability to meet with a lot of them. And I don't want you to, I want you to know how grateful I am for the opportunity to be sitting here with you today. So thank you so much. So tell me, one of the things I want to spend some time on today is learning more about you and your family and your goals, some of your preferences. I'd like to answer any questions that you have about the buying process, and we'll kind of hit on some of the high points of that process together. I want to help you better understand what the experience of working with myself and my team will be like, and we'll certainly have some time to answer any questions that you have. Does that sound fair?
That's fair. Can you remind me again, Bill, how long are you going to be?
You mean the appointment? How long will I be in your face?
Yes.
Well, typically our meetings last about 45 minutes or so. Would that be okay, or do you have
Nope.
should I give
I
you the short
scheduled you.
script?
I have an hour.
Perfect. I'll make sure that we stay within the hour. I appreciate you bringing that up. Okay. By the way, I'm glad you asked me that question. You want to let them know, hey, we should be able to cover all of this in 45 minutes to an hour. That way, they're not like 2 hours in and still drilling you with questions, right? You can do that at another time. Okay, so Kim, we're about to make a huge purchase here, and I just want to take a little bit of time to make sure that I fully understand your goals and your needs. So can you tell me a little bit about your current situation?
Well, I'm currently in this rental, and so I'm looking to um, buy a little bigger house. Doesn't have to be much bigger than the rental, but I kind of want to be over in the Johns Creek area if that's possible.
Okay, so Johns Creek,
Mhm.
and are you aiming to stay in a particular school district or just kind of anywhere in Johns Creek?
Well, I kind of would like my kids to go to a Johns Creek High School.
Okay,
So, yeah.
okay, great. That's the high school that you're currently in, is that right?
No, actually not. We actually live in Roswell, and we go to Roswell High School.
Okay, so anything that you can share with me about your desire to move to Johns Creek? What's important to you about that move?
Well, my office is over there, and the traffic going up and down Old Milton Parkway around 4 or 5 o'clock can get pretty bad. So I prefer to just be on that side of town.
Gotcha, gotcha. And how many children do you have at right now? How many people live with you?
Two.
Two. Okay, are they both in high school?
No, one's in middle school.
One's in middle and one's in high school. Okay. So I'm taking notes. Don't be afraid to take notes right in front of them. They appreciate that. Echo back what you're hearing, write it down. That way they know you're listening. Okay. So, Kim, I want to just make sure I fully understand how to serve you at the highest level. So, I want to make sure that this is just a perfect scenario for you. I want to make sure this is a perfect experience for you. If there was one thing that has to happen in order for this to be just a phenomenal experience looking back, what would you say that is?
Um, well, that is a smooth transition from the rental to the new house. That's important. I don't really want to have a lot of I don't want to be out there looking at houses day in and day out. I hope that you'll listen to what I'm looking for and that we can narrow down like 4 or 5 houses and then pick a house.
Great, great. And outside of minimizing the number of homes that you want to see in person, and it kind of being as kind of headache free as possible, uh, what else is important to you?
I guess keeping the price within my budget, that's important.
Okay. And I know that you had spoken with Kathy Vitale over at Shelter Home Mortgage. Um, where are you guys in that process? Do you have a pre-approval, or do you know what that price
Yes.
range is right now?
Yeah, she said I'm like around 450.
Okay.
So I'm assuming 450 in Johns Creek, I probably could only get a townhouse. I'm not sure. You have to show me what I can get in Johns Creek for 450.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. We'll do a lot of searching on the computer, right? The first showing is always on the computer anyway, and
Hmm.
then we can identify the ones that make the most sense for us to spend the time to go see in person. I've actually been looking at some property in Johns Creek ahead of our appointment today, and there are some really pretty homes that you could get for less than 450. So we'll see if those are a potential match for you. Um, so when you say a smooth transition, walk me through that. Does that mean fast? Does that mean just like not a lot of issues? Walk me through exactly what that means to you.
Well, I'm in a temporary house right now because I sold my other house, and the other realtor who helped me sell my house, there were a lot of things that came up last minute that the other buyer wanted, and I felt like if they knew they wanted those things, maybe when they initially we got into the contract that I had we had gotten those things taken care of, but they came back later after due diligence, and then the washer and dryer weren't good enough, and other things weren't good enough, and the floors and blah 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 blah. So I kind of just want things to go well. I don't want to see a house that needs a lot of work, because we don't want to do a lot of work.
Okay. Okay, good to know. So you don't want to do a lot of work on the property.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So tell me a little bit about your other experiences working with other agents. Tell me a little bit about what do you expect from an agent? What are you really looking for when you work with an agent?
Just really good communication. If you could just communicate with me on what's going on, like on a daily basis, I would appreciate it. I really like daily contact, because the process is just always nerve-wracking for me. And so if you contact me daily just to say, hey, this is going on today, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. Is there a certain format there, or format that you'd like me to? Do you want an email? Do you want a text message? Do you want
Text or email are great.
Okay, so you want a daily email, just with what's going on in the file that day. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. Tell me a little bit about how do I lose with you? Like, it sounds like you've had some, less than perfect experiences with agents in the past. What went wrong there?
They didn't communicate. It was kind of like they got my business, and then they were working, but I didn't know what was going on. I won't say they weren't working. They were working, but I felt like, when things were going on, I didn't know about them until the last minute. And I felt like if they had communicated with me on a daily basis, I would have been more prepared for what was happening.
I got it. I know this can be a very stressful process for people, and there's a lot of kind of turns and changes, and it's a very complex process. So that's one of the things that myself and my team really pride ourselves on, is making sure that we communicate, in your case, daily, and letting you know what's next, what to expect, answer your questions before you ask them. Is that the kind of service that you're looking for?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. So let's do this. Tell me a little bit about how long have you been looking for properties?
I just started about a month or two ago looking on Zillow.
Okay. And when does your current lease end?
In about 60 days.
In about 60 days. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just so I know, the type of, are you going to be, we know you're getting it. We know that you were getting a mortgage with Kathy. What type of mortgage is that? Is that a conventional loan, an FHA loan, a VA loan? Did she talk to you about that?
Yeah, it's a conventional loan.
Okay, so typically you're looking at about 30 to 35 days or so from contract to close. So I would suggest that we should take the next 2 to 3 weeks and isolate the property and go ahead and secure it and get it under contract. So I just want you to kind of understand that the timeline we'll be working with. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Now, what have you seen? Have you seen some homes that you've really liked on Zillow or elsewhere?
Yeah, but pictures don't always tell the whole story.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me more about that. Was it you thought that have you
So
gone
I
and
just need
seen
to
homes
go
in
out and see
person?
the
Is that what you're
property.
saying?
I've been going to open houses. I just need to go see. And then when I've seen it open houses, I really have only been going to townhouses, because I assumed I could only get in a townhouse. So that's kind of where I focused on my searches. So I haven't really looked at single family. I prefer that, but I didn't think that in Johns Creek area I would be able to get into a single family home without having to do a whole bunch of repairs.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I just had somebody call me who I helped buy a home like probably 9 or 10 years ago, and I saw the name pop up. I read his message, and it was like, oh, we're going to be moving up to Connecticut and these kind of things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got a listing. And he was just calling to let me know that he listed with somebody else, and that if he wanted, if I had a buyer in Johns Creek, then I can bring the buyer. So what do we know? I mean, like, we know I kind of took a little time off as I went into leadership, but that's done. But that's a $410,000 home that's really pretty in Johns Creek. Okay, so they're out there. Okay. Okay. Point is, now it's off my chest.
Yeah.
Okay, I can move forward with my life. Okay. Beautiful. So, how much money will you be putting down for your down payment?
Probably 10%.
10%. Okay, perfect. And do you have some money set aside for closing costs also?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And roughly how much do you have for that?
Well, I was thinking that if I'm going to spend about 450, I saved about, she told me like 1 to 2% of the cost of the house. So that's kind of what I put aside for it.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah, I think that's probably um, a good estimate. Probably closer to 2%. I think that's probably about right. So you've already sold your home, you're in temporary housing, and you're ready to buy. And we're
Yeah,
going to buy a home in Johns Creek, so you can be in the high school district, so that you can have an easier and a better commute to your work that is closer to Johns Creek than Roswell. And we're going to stay in the neighborhood of 450. We're going to have a 10% down conventional loan, and you're looking for the opportunity. We want to save you time, right? We don't want to go into every single home that's out there.
that's correct.
So my job is I want to ask you a couple more questions about the property you're looking for, but what I want to do is take you right to it. Okay, I work with home buyers and sellers all day long, and my team does as well. And we know the market really well, and we're going to take you right to what you want to see. So don't be surprised if you end up wanting to move forward in the very first home that we see together. Fair?
Fair.
Okay, great. Now we talked about email is probably one of the best methods of communication. Do you want that update date at the end of the day, the beginning of the day?
It doesn't matter as long as I get it that day, it's fine.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Now, let's talk about your wish list for your home. If there was one thing that you just absolutely had to have in your new home, what would you say that is?
Um, a screen porch.
Screen porch. Okay, perfect. And so just so I know, if we were to find like a space that wasn't, like a porch, but it wasn't screened in, or maybe it needed a few $1,000s worth of work to make it exactly what you want.
Nope.
No, okay, it's got to be beautiful already, right?
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. Outside of a screen porch, what's the next biggest priority?
As long as it's clean, I'm good. I can handle just about like three. My bottom line, I just need 3.5 bathrooms. Um, I like an open floor plan, and um, cleanliness is important to me. So if I walk into the house, it needs to look like it's been well kept, and that the people cared about it.
Well kept, and that the people cared about it. Okay, great. And should we just talk about, I can send you some homes that are single family homes that are less than 450. Should we focus today on specifics about the townhome?
Sure.
Okay. Anything about the community itself? Does it need to be like, let's say a gated community or swim and tennis or have a gym or anything like that?
All those things would be nice, especially if it's a townhouse.
Okay. What if we found a perfect interior space and it didn't have a gate and it didn't have a gym? Would you consider that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Meaning we're not going to put that in the requirements,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Um, I might ask the question, I should have done this a little earlier. When she says she's willing to pay 450, I want to just do a double check on that to say, have you seen the monthly payments? Do you kind of understand what that would require on a monthly basis? And are you comfortable with that? Because there's a difference between what the bank will issue and what the person may be comfortable with. Does that make sense? So let's say, yeah, the bank will loan me 450, but it requires a payment of, let's say, $2,300, and I want to spend $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense? So you want to, because then they'll say, oh, well, look at this little worksheet here. Does this help you? Right? Okay, perfect. Is there anything in particular, like the age of the home, or could it be brick, or could it not be brick? Anything else that's critical? Does it need like a laundry room upstairs or a laundry room downstairs, or uh, walk me through anything else that's on your mind?
Uh, no, Bill, I don't have specifics. I kind of like when I walk into a house, I'll know if it's for me. So I don't
Okay.
want to give you a list because I don't want you to exclude something that you think is a really nice home, but I won't want it because the laundry room is not right. So I would prefer to, as long as there's an open floor plan, it has 3.5 bathrooms, it's clean, the people don't have a lot of repairs that are needed, and my screen porch is on there, I think I should go see it, and it's in my price range.
Okay, great, great. So those are the requirements, and of course we'll stay within the 450 budget. Anything with the bedrooms, would a 3-bedroom be okay, or does it have to be 4?
No, I actually need 4 because we work from home.
Okay, so if you've seen a bunch of townhomes, I'm not saying it's rare, but there's a lot more 3-bedroom townhomes than 4-bedroom townhomes,
That's true.
right? So that'll be something that eliminates a lot of the things that this person might be considering. Okay. All right. Anything else you want to add to the any comments, any other suggestions, feedback that you have with respect to the home, so I know exactly what you're looking for?
No, that's it.
Okay, beautiful. So Kim, let's take a moment and talk a little bit about how the home process works. You've purchased before? When was
Yes.
the last time that you purchased a home?
It's been about 10 years.
Okay, so we'll kind of skim through this really fast. As you know, working with an agent, there's 2 great parts about working with an agent. Number 1 is you don't have to pay for professional representation. Okay, I'm ultimately paid by the seller of the home that you pursue. There's 2 really cool parts about that. Number 1 is you don't have to write a check. And secondly, the agent, myself, I don't have to act like a salesman, if you will, right? If we walk into a home and it's too big or too small, or the floor plan's not open enough, or the screen porch isn't quite what you want, or the home is like, an 8 out of a 1 to 10 scale of cleanliness and it's like almost there, I don't have to push you to buy it. If you say I don't want to buy it, we leave and we go find a different house. Okay, so I get to play much more of the role of the consultant rather than the salesman. The other great thing I want you to make sure that you understand is that I'm able to help you pursue any property that is on the market. So I know that agents or that home buyers are, driving around in new construction and might be using a couple different mobile apps, and I want to make sure by the end of our meeting you have mine as well. If there's any property that you see on any website, I want you to contact me directly because I can help you see it and pursue it if that's what you want to do. And ultimately, I'll be paid by the owner of the home that you pursue, so you don't have to worry at all about any commissions. Okay. Also, just another reminder is you can pursue any home that's listed by any brokerage. So just because I happen to be with Keller Williams doesn't mean you have to buy like a Keller Williams listing or something like that. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. So again, we're going to review the wants and needs of the property you're looking for. We're going to review your motivation. We're going to fine tune your pre-approval. We're going to set up some automated searches, and I'm going to ask you for some feedback. So when you see the homes that I'm sending you, just help me understand why they're working, why they're a good fit, or why they may not be a good fit. And if you ever come to a new conclusion, let's say the home needs a garage, I want you to, and you wouldn't consider buying the home without a garage, call me right away and I'll change everything for you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And my goal, I know time is of critical importance for you, especially while we're out looking at the home. So the minute we walk into a home and it ain't for you, let's leave. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. And then really where my money is made the most for you is in protecting your interest. Okay. So I want to make sure you're perfectly clear on something is I'm here to protect you and to make sure that you get the best price, terms, and condition for your property. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through all of the title search and all of the inspections and all of the negotiations. And we're going to write a contract that allows you to do all the research and inspections you desire to do. We'll make any request for updates to the condition of the property or repairs that are necessary. I'll also make sure that the appraisal process runs smoothly, that you finalize all the terms with your lender to make sure that your financing contingency is satisfied. And I'll be with you every step of the way to make sure that all your questions about the process are answered. And then we'll sit together at the closing and make it official. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Beautiful. Now I also have a full-time buyer's agent. So there, on occasion, there may be opportunities if, for example, we need to see a home quick and I might be in an appointment or something, I've got somebody else that is ready to step in and show you that home quickly. And we have a full-time assistant on our team as well. So anytime that you have an admin question or something needs to handle, administratively or marketing wise, I want you to know we got a super talented person handling those tasks for you as well. Okay.
Good.
Okay, beautiful. So we talked a little bit about the mortgage. You're going to be obtaining a 10% conventional loan. I'm sure Kathy and I have worked together for many years, so I'm sure she mentioned some of this stuff to you, but I'm just going to remind you, please do not go and apply for any new credit cards or lines of credit. Don't lease a car. Don't go buy furniture. Don't do get a Kohl's gift card or Kohl's credit card to save 10% or something like that. Please don't do that until after you close, okay? Because if you do that, it could affect your ratios and could prevent you from purchasing the home. So I just want to make sure, I don't know if any other agents have ever talked to you about that, but I want to make sure I bring that up to your attention, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now we've already talked about a little bit of how quickly we have to move here, again, to make sure that that we save you time and that we really need to keep our eye on the next 3 weeks or so to get under contract so that you can move into the place before you have to move out of your other place, okay? Do you have any questions on the financing or the process thus far?
No, not at all.
Okay, so I also want to show you a little bit about our team. So what you can see here is, and these are some stats that you can pull together either from your team or your own stats or from the market center or your brokerage, whatever, on your kind of credentials, like I've been in the business for this number of times or this number of years, or my average buyer ratio is 94% when the average is 97%, and that means I save my clients more money than the average agent, something of that nature, right? You can talk a little bit about the the Keller Williams belief system and the fact that we're the #1 training organization in the world. You can talk about being the industry insider, tech enabled. You can show them the consumer app and these kind of things, and walk them through, help them understand that you're part of a phenomenal organization that's there to support you as the agent and the consumer, of course, as well. Okay. Some of these things I'd probably cut out of the page here. Here's a couple of testimonials. I know you didn't get a chance to look through the testimonials, but there's about 4 pages of testimonials here from clients that I've helped in the past. So I hope you'll take a moment to look at that. So Kim, here's the bottom line: is real estate is really complicated, and at the closing table, my goal is for you to feel like the purchase of your home has exceeded all of your expectations. So throughout all of our interactions, from the searching to the closing, I'm going to work incredibly hard to make sure that I achieve that goal for you, that we have a smooth transition, that you can have a better commute for you and your family, right? And so that you can have the space that you need and the open floor plan that you need, and have that for you and your family. So that's my commitment to you. So when you choose me as your partner, you're not only choosing getting a trusted and respected agent, you're also getting a local expert who's passionate about serving your community. And we work with the #1 training and sales organization in the world. Is that important to you?
Yes, that is important.
Okay, perfect. So I'd like to share with you something called a promise. Okay, have you ever heard of the promise before?
No.
Okay, so I might have skipped it here.
There we go.
And it's okay right here. So what I want to tell you a little bit about is this idea of the promise. And my promise is to make sure that this is just a absolutely phenomenal experience for you. Okay, and so every step of the process, I want you to be so impressed with how our communication, right? I'm using some of the same words that Kim has used: communication, smooth transition, short commutes, open floor plan, right? I'm mirroring her, matching her wording exactly the way she said it. Okay. Now, one of the things that I'd like to do is make myself available to answer all of your questions, to handle any reduction of your stress, to handle any little issues that might pop up in the transaction. And what I'm hopeful is during the course of the transaction, before closing or at latest at closing, I'm hoping that you're going to be so impressed with my promise of delivering a phenomenal experience that you're going to feel compelled to share your story and your experience with others, so that I can also help them in their journey of homeownership. Do you think that would be okay?
I think so.
Okay. So if there's ever a time where you feel like my service level could be improved or my communication level could be improved, or you see something that you're unsure about or you don't like, will you do me a favor and let me know right away? Okay. And myself and my team, we're going to fix that for you immediately.
Of course.
Okay. My goal is to be your real estate agent for life. Okay. So even if you buy this home, you're probably not going to buy and sell for another, 8 to 10 years. But as you know, we work with a lot of home vendors in the area. So there might be times where there's vendors that are offering special opportunities or deals, or maybe something breaks in your home and you need a garage door, repairman or something like that. I want you to feel that you can reach out to me at any time, even if it's not to buy or sell something. And I want to make sure you know I'm here to help you. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay. So Kim, you ready to get started?
I am ready to get started, but does this mean that you're going to be my realtor, like starting today?
Is that what you want?
Well, I don't know. I made an appointment to interview my friend Ebony. She said she was going to try to be my realtor, and I thought I would give her a chance because I've been working with her for a while at our other job, and she left and she became a realtor, and I thought I would give her a chance to, sit down and give me her presentation.
Okay, so is she a full-time agent or a part-time agent?
No, she's full time. She left the job and now she is a realtor.
Okay, okay. And have you seen any homes with her? You haven't committed in writing to working with her, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So other than your desire to interview Ebony, is there anything that would stop us from working together starting right now?
No, I just thought I would give her a chance to present what she could do as well.
Okay. Okay, so I can completely understand that. Let me ask you, is there anything that you're hoping that to hear or to see in Ebony's presentation or another realtor's presentation that I didn't share with you? Because I could take up, I know you said time was important, so I kept our meeting to about 40 minutes, as you can see. I could go on for hours about all the things that I'll do for you. So I just want to make sure if she shared anything that she does that I also do, I just didn't share. I want to make sure that you're knowledgeable about that. Is there anything you're waiting to hear?
No, like I said, I told her that I was going to be that I was going to interview you, and then I put her on my calendar also. It's just that she couldn't make it today. So I said, I could see her tomorrow.
Okay. Well, what are you going to do when you find a house and she couldn't make it to show you in time and somebody else buys it? Just kidding. I
Um,
wouldn't say that, but I would allude to that.
yeah. Well, I think
I'll tell you, Kim. There are some agents that would probably push even harder, and I said this when we were doing the listing presentation. I Look, I'm comfortable with what I'm presenting, okay, and I don't want um, I don't want you, Kim, to feel this like hesitation that you wanted to meet with this person or give them a chance or whatever, and then I like steamrolled you. So I would probably, maybe ask one more question about, is there anything that I didn't share with you that you wished I had said? Or if, is there any anything else that you would consider like a requirement of the experience that we didn't talk about, something of that nature, right? Because what I'm basically trying to get you to say is that everything that you want, I can give you, right?
okay.
If I know that if I'm competing, then I may say something to the effect of, I may spend an extra minute on my numbers, right? So I may say something to the effect of, when you meet with Ebony, make sure you ask her a little bit about her statistics, right? So ask her what her average list price to sales price ratio is. Ask her what her experience in working with buyers in this area is. But because what you told me, she's new. I'm not
Mhm.
saying there's not new obviously, all of us were new at one point. But if I know I'm competing against an inexperienced agent, then I'm going to allude to the fact that she either may not have good stats or she doesn't know them.
Mhm. That's good because if someone asked me, I wouldn't know that statistic you just asked.
Right. So for example, if the average list price to sales price ratio for a home is, let's say, 99.3%, yet when I'm working with the buyers, my buyers pay 95% of list price, then I'm 4% better than the average buyer's agent.
Right.
So you're looking at a $450,000 house. So Kim, let's do the math together. So that's 450,000 times, what is that? 5.3%. Okay, so let's multiply that by 5.3. What is that number? That's
I can't see, Bill.
$23,850 that I'm going to help you save over the average agent.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
So Kim, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you had $23,850, what would you do with that money?
Oh, a lot, Bill.
Like what?
That would help me furnish my new house and window treatments. That would help with a lot of things.
So furniture, window treatments, what else?
It would be gone after that,
It'd be gone?
probably.
I must have cheap window treatments. Okay, Kim, I'm going to check in with you in a couple of days and see if you came up with any new exciting ways to spend that extra money, okay?
Okay. Hi, why don't we talk tomorrow after I interview her? Because if she can't do all of these things, then there won't be really much to talk about.
I
And
think you and I are thinking right along the same page. So what time are you expecting to be done with Ebony?
our call is at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. Okay, perfect,
Mhm.
perfect. So I'll give you a call at about 11:40, and I'll make it super simple to save you time, and I'll go ahead and get all the paperwork ready for you to autograph, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
All right, beautiful.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, there's one thing I didn't really get a chance to go over. I kind of forgot, to be honest, was some Chartmaster slides. So I do want to spend a couple of minutes in the presentation kind of, hey, now, would you mind if I just share a little bit of information about the current market environment with you? Okay.
You really feel you need to do that with a buyer's presentation?
Yeah,
Really? Okay.
I'll tell you why. Let's say I don't share that information with you, and then you say, it's time you find the home you want, and it's time for you to or it's time for us to write the offer, and the home's listed for 450, and you want to write an offer for 410. And I say, Kim, you're not going to be successful. And you're like, why are you telling me to pay full price? Right?
Mm-hmm.
When if I told you earlier that the average home sells for, first of all, here's a great slide. Hey,
I thought you would
450.
do that when you got to that point, like with the client. So I have that wrong. I thought like if you're having an issue with the client, um, being realistic with an offer on the home, then you would break those slides out for them to see. Is that not right?
I kind of want to test the waters a little bit. Honestly, I know this is going to sound crazy, guys, but every one of us is crazy. Okay? All of us. My job is to figure out how crazy you are, and if I'm willing to leave my home and my family to hang out with you and in your current state of craziness. Does that make sense? I know that's an incredibly strange way of saying it, but if I show them this slide that indicates that 34% of homes are selling at list price or above list price, and I ask them what their opinion of that is, and they say, well, I'm not paying list price. I'm not paying a nickel over 90% of list price. Now I know who I'm working with. Is this somebody? Then I can come back and say, so walk me through that a little bit more. Help me understand a little bit more about what's on your mind when you hear that, right? And then I'm digging a little bit. I'm trying to basically figure out, again, is this person nuts? Right? Now, some of these slides are not so relevant for buyers, right? Here's one about, roughly 2/3 of homes are selling where sellers are paying some closing costs. You might want to have that one in your back pocket. Days on the market for homes that sell above list price in that price range, it's 6, right? So if something pops on the market and you want to go see it right away, you better be super aggressive. Okay. So, hey, Mr. Buyer or Kim or Mrs. Liptrot, really, keep it, super, super professional. I'd only call them, Kim when they say, hey, you can call me Kim, right? You know, I want to ask you a question. 1/3 of homes are selling at or above list price. If I take you to the home that's got the perfect open floor plan, that's got the 2-car garage, that's got the gym and the gated community, that's got the 3.5 baths, right? It's got a just amazing deck, and it's brand new to the market. It's very possible you're going to have to be really aggressive with that offer. Would you be prepared to do that?
Okay.
Right? Because if they say no, I've got to really consider whether I'm wasting my time with this person or not.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So you don't want to bring like a 60-page binder and force them to look at every page. But that's one of I usually ask those 2 questions. One is, I want you to understand that my goal is to ask you enough questions where I can take you exactly to the property you want. Okay. I'm going to listen. Now, you told me 3 different times listening was important. So I want to make sure that I heard that, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to save you time. You also told me you wanted stress-free, or the wording you used was a smooth transition, right? So I'm going to make sure that I listen and I give you a smooth transition, okay? And I'm only going to take you to the homes that make the most sense for you because I know the market well. So if I know this home is not the right fit and this one is, I want to take you to this one, right?
Okay.
So most buyers look at about 6 to 8 homes before they purchase one. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm only going to show you 8 homes.
Right.
I'm making a statement and then I'm asking how they feel about that. So they can respond in one of 2 ways. They could say, sounds reasonable to me. I don't want to go look at 50 homes. You came out and said that. But what if you said, well, I was thinking about looking at 6 to 8 on Monday, 6 to 8 on Tuesday, another 6 to 8 on Wednesday. Then I'm going to bring my aunt from Chattanooga and we're going to look at all those again on Friday. My uncle from Birmingham is going to want to see him on Saturday. My grandmother from Tuscaloosa is going to want to see him on Sunday. And then I'm going to bring my blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no way.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you're testing them a little bit. You're stating a preference or a boundary, and you're seeing how they react to it.
But what if you have a client that does say that and like in your presentation tells you up front, like, hey, my brother's coming from Birmingham on such and such day and we're gonna want to see those houses again. Like how do you handle that? Or
Say, so there's a couple of different things we could do. One is we can look at him for the first time with your brother. Secondly, we can go look at him and we can, FaceTime him in while we can do a little virtual tour or something like that. But my recommendation to you is that you see how fast the market's moving. We may not be in a position to wait to get the approval of your brother. We may need to aggressively pursue the home, get under contract, and then he can come and see the home during due diligence period. I also, if the person is a new buyer, never bought before, I'd probably also take a couple minutes to explain the due diligence period, the financing contingency, and the appraisal contingency. I kind of glossed over that because you had bought before. Okay.
okay.
So it's okay to have somebody else come and like give the approval, if you will, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I was kind of being more on like I don't want to go and show the same home 6 different times. See what I'm saying?
So you close right after the promise. You tell them the promise and then you try to close, then you close with the contract.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now, if they were to say, well, I'm not sure I'm ready to work with you or whatever, I'm usually a little bit on the softer sell. Now, wait, there's one more thing I wanted to mention that I don't want to forget. So you said something, you you suggested that I might not bring up some statistics or some education around the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that might be one of the things that separates me from Ebony.
Okay.
I'm not saying you, I'm saying this figurative Ebony that she's going to be meeting with, right? Because if Ebony comes in here and she's like, hey, we're friends, it's going to be so much fun, and she doesn't ask any questions about how to service her, and she doesn't commit to emailing every day, which, by the way, is a little much, but I'll have my assistants in that, right? Then she's going to botch it.
Do you
See what I'm saying?
filter your market stats based upon where it is that they want to live, or are you just doing it overall in general?
That's a good question. I might have both ready,
Okay.
right? But I'm looking like the whole like on the market for 6 days. Like I don't necessarily need to pull in like, you know, I may not have known that she was only interested in Johns Creek High School homes at that stage. So I might just give her a little bit more broad of a look. Okay. Wait, I was heading to another idea. I lost my train of thought. Oh, closing. So I said, so Kim asked, do I close hard there? I got to tell you, Melva may kill me on this, okay, but I didn't cram the buyer brokerage down their throat, okay. I always brought the copy, about a blank copy, and I said, part of working together is here's a document called the buyer brokerage agreement, right? So if they say, yeah, you ready to get started? And they say, yeah, I say, great. So here's some paperwork. Here's the buyer brokerage agreement. Let me help you understand what it says, and we can autograph it when you're ready, right? If they give me pushback, but it didn't include I got another agent to interview, then I might say something to the effect of, here's the buyer's brokerage agreement, and today you are what Georgia license law calls a customer, okay? And according to license law, I also might say this because Ebony probably doesn't know, and she may start giving a whole lot of advice or not even help her understand the difference and the importance of buyer brokerage agreement from a licensing standpoint. So let's say, so today you're my customer because you haven't signed this. Okay, so agents are really only supposed to do ministerial tasks for you. What the real estate commission determines as a ministerial task is essentially things you could do for yourself, for lack of a better way to put it, right? What school district is it in? What's the taxes? How many bedrooms does it have? What does the tax record say about the square footage, right? Is it gated or not? Like these kind of things. If you want an agent to use their expertise and their strategy and their opinion, then you really should have this document signed, because that's what takes you from a customer to a client. And now I'm working to protect your interest. Otherwise, I'm really a sub-agent of the seller, right? This is what creates a loyalty agreement. And I am using all my energy to protect you, not the other side. So look, I just met you 20 minutes ago. I get it. But what I'd love for you to do is take this home, read through it. Let me know if you have any questions. Be happy to answer any questions. And I expect to earn your business. So let's pick out 2 or 3 homes that you want to see. And Tuesday we'll go and see them. And then you can get a better feel for what working with me would sound like or be like, right? And typically they'll email me later that night with the thing signed, or they'll have it ready signed when we meet Tuesday. Or if not, at the end of Tuesday, and say, did you have a chance to look at the paperwork? Do you have any questions? Have I earned the right to be your partner in this?
I think that's a great way. That's great. It's softer. Yeah.
Right, because the truth of the matter is it can be terminated by any party at any time for free. So from a visual standpoint, it's basically completely symbolic, right? Now it does have its place in license law, and I'm not trying to overlook that, but I can kind of use a softer approach with the angle of license law to make sure that they know that I actually know what I'm talking about, right? Because it's kind of like, sometimes if you state the obvious, what did I think Dave Jinks said this. He said, you state the obvious in a confident, powerful way, it changes everything. It's like, Donna, 2 + 2 is 4. Or you're like, 2 + 2 is 5. And Donna will think to herself, is it really 5? Like, I thought my whole life it was 4. Maybe it is 5. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to have to feel your client out, your prospect out a little bit, right? If they show signs of weakness, jump on them. If they're a little hesitant, ask them, hey, I think we'd work great together. I'd love an opportunity to help you. What would need to happen for us to get to start? 2 emails a day? What do you want? Just ask for what you want. Okay, I do have to hop off right at 5. Anyone have any last questions? Did you like it? Okay.
Yes, it was helpful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Very helpful.
Okay. The key to it all
Yes.
is the person who asks the questions controls the conversation. And the person who talks the most generally has the most fun. Now, what does that tell you? Right? Either
And to talk
We're
a
not
lot,
gonna have
ask a lot
fun.
of questions.
Right. Now, well, there's a difference between asking, if I ask a 10-word question and then I get a 2-minute answer, and then I ask another 10-word question and get another 3-minute answer, I controlled the conversation and they're having all the fun.
Mm,
Y'all follow that?
yeah.
And then when you ask for the deal, when you ask for the business, they say, oh my gosh, maybe this person will let me talk all the time.
Mm,
My wife doesn't even let me talk all the time. This is awesome. Y'all see what I'm saying? Guys, this business is all psychology. It's all psychology. It's all getting into a relationship with people and figuring out what they want. And people want to be right and they want to feel good, right? So how would this be a perfect experience for you, Kim? Well, I want you to wear a costume every time you show the homes. Okay, cool. I'll do that. Whatever. Who knows? People are crazy. All right, what's your biggest aha? Tracy, did you learn a lot today?
I did. I I have to learn to talk with my clients that much. I kind of refrain from them saying no. I don't like no's, so I don't kind of give them the chance to.
Well,
But
try not to ask questions. You might want to practice asking open-ended questions.
yeah,
Right? Saying, so do you want a home with a 2-car garage?
but yeah, that's fine when it comes to them. But when it comes to me, like, not everyone, if you think you've given good service to someone and they don't think so because maybe part of the experience, something happened. And I've had clients like that, but when they look back on the entire thing, like after they've moved in and after they realize that everything really did work out fine, but sometimes the anxiety of the process can make them lose judgment.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is we all experience things differently. And as a result, like, let's say I deliver service in the exact way I would want service delivered to me, then not everyone is exactly like me. So some people are going to be impressed by that, and some people are going to be not impressed by that, right?
Yeah.
So rather than delivering kind of an experience that I want to deliver, I need to deliver an experience that they want to receive.
That's true.
Right? And by the way, you practice asking the questions that are open-ended. So don't say, do you want a 2-car garage? Say, is a garage important to you? Right? Or what about having a garage is important to you? Cool?
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Fun as normal. I'll see you in the morning.
All right.
Okay.
Y'all reach out, okay?
Thank you, Bill.
Bye.
You're very
Thanks, Bill.
welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
You
Bye-bye.
too.